Myles Garrett had the chance to step up at a microphone and say, man, I'm just glad a new coach is going to come in and treat him like the QB1 he is. Myles Garrett had the chance to say, man, I'm just glad that finally that monkey's off everybody's back and we get to go out there and live with our quarterback the way he deserves to be treated. Could have said any of that. And instead, Myles was very real and very honest. And maybe this is the moment that everybody needs to start figuring out that, like, Shedeur is not what anybody thinks Shedeur is. Maybe he's just a fifth-round draft pick trying to earn his way to the starting spot on the Cleveland Browns.
But is he wrong, though? Like, did he earn it? We're having that conversation about J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. McCarthy was a first-round pick. And there is inherently more leeway and more leash that you get depending on your draft stock, depending on where you were drafted. Shedeur Sanders was drafted in the 5th round. You can like that. You can not like that. You can disagree with that. You can agree with that. But it is what it is. So did he earn it? I don't think so. Shedeur Sanders showed a lot of good. He also showed a lot of being a rookie that's still figuring out the National Football League. Like, I don't think that we should villainize athletes for telling the truth. Now, there's a place, there is a time, and there is a tone. That is all important, because when you're Myles Garrett, your words matter. So I don't want to just act like athletes can go out there and be all willy-nilly and say whatever they want and not have consequence. Let's not get that twisted. But Justin Jefferson, the week of the Super Bowl, was doing his car washes, he was doing his interviews, and he told us on Yahoo Sports Daily, he told us, look, JJ's got a lot of learning and growing to do. Is he wrong? Like, is he wrong? We all can watch J.J. McCarthy and acknowledge he's got a lot of learning to do. He's got a lot of growth to experience, and he's only played 10 games in the last 2 years in the NFL. Of course, he has some learning to do. So he wasn't wrong in his evaluation of saying that. Myles Garrett's not wrong here. Shedeur Sanders has not earned a starting spot yet, and that's okay. Maybe what Shedeur Sanders needs isn't public praise, isn't Myles Garrett saying certified QB1, no question about it. You know, any criticisms aren't fair. Shedeur Sanders is the guy. Maybe Shedeur Sanders doesn't need that. Maybe Shedeur Sanders needs public accountability. Maybe Shedeur Sanders needs someone, a teammate, a very famous teammate with a big-time platform, the defensive player in the year in the NFL, to just have some honest truth, some honest accountability. And also, it's not Myles Garrett's place to decide who is QB1. It's not Myles Garrett's position to put Todd Monken, their new head coach, in a position to have to put Shedeur Sanders in at QB1 because Myles Garrett told him so. I don't have any problem with what Myles Garrett said. It's refreshing honesty.
I agree completely. And I think we're seeing more and more of this refreshing honesty, but honesty is the big part of the word here, because you're right. I don't know if J.J. McCarthy is the future for the Vikings. Right now, if I had to guess, I'd say the answer is no. I don't know if Michael Penix Jr. is the future for the Atlanta Falcons. If I had to guess, I'd say probably no. I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is the future for the Cleveland Browns. If I had to guess, I'd probably say no. Like, at the end of the day, it's a revolving door until you get your guy. And you need to have a guy that you absolutely just believe you can make, you can go to war with that guy. And look, it doesn't always have to be somebody epic. You and I have talked about the fact that Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold were the last 2 Super Bowl champions. They are not 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league. They're 2 good quarterbacks on very good teams. I don't think that Shedeur has to be compared to or has to live up to Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or any of those guys. What they need to figure out is Shedeur the sort of guy that you can win a lot of football games with? And I think it's okay to just look around and acknowledge we don't know the answer to it. That's also why I don't have a problem, as Mary Kay Cabot, a noted and well-respected reporter in Cleveland, pointed out that Todd Monken is intrigued by once elite Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, who's 100% healthy now. That doesn't surprise me, because if you're Todd Monken and you walked in the door, the first thing you got to do is figure out what you have. I think we just presume that coaches, when they walk in the door, have already studied everything that you could possibly know about a roster. One thing that I thought was interesting, even from Clint Kubiak's introductory press conference with the Raiders, he was asked about some of the players, and the first thing he said is, got to dig into the tape, got to dig into the tape. Like, Todd Monken did not study every single quarterback in that room before he agreed to take the Cleveland Browns job. He is now there, and it is his job. What he's spending all day, every day with is ripping through these guys and trying to figure out, what do we have? Now, Deshaun Watson costs a ton of money. He's going to be on that roster anyway. frankly, no matter what we think of Deshaun Watson, the person, if I was Deshaun Watson, if I was the head football coach of the Cleveland Browns, I want to figure out if I've got a quarterback in the room, and I don't care anymore if it's Deshaun or if it's Shedeur or if it's some guy we're going to go off the street. I just got to find the answer. So I wouldn't close any doors until I had the opportunity to go through all of them and actually see what I have in film, see what I have in the weight room, see what I have in meetings, have a cup of coffee with all these guys, figure out who they are, and then figure out who my quarterback should be. There is no clear-cut answer in my mind for Cleveland other than we need time to figure it out.
One of my old radio hosts in Nashville used to work with a former NFL general manager who always used to say, you don't make your mind up until you have to. You give yourself as much time as you possibly can before you say, okay, yeah, like this is the decision that I'm going to make. Today is February 11th. Realistically, Todd Monken doesn't have to make his mind up about who QB1 is until the season kicks off in after Labor Day in early to mid-September? That's 7 months from now. Why would Todd Monken on week 1, week 2 of the job make his mind up when he doesn't have to? Todd Monken has the entirety of a draft process. Todd Monken has the entirety of off-season workouts, has all of OTAs, has all of training camp, has all of the next 7 months to watch tape, to, talk to these quarterbacks, to make his mind up about who is his QB1. So I'm sure he's intrigued by Deshaun Watson, because when your options are Dillon Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and Deshaun Watson, I guess any of them could be intriguing. I guess you could put lipstick on any pig. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me, especially when you're paying Deshaun Watson $50 million. Then yeah, I'm sure that's intriguing to Todd Monken. But he's going to say that about Shedeur Sanders, and I think he's probably going to say that about Dillon Gabriel. He has all of these options at quarterback, and he doesn't have to make his mind up right now. I think anything is on the table. Now, if I were running the Browns organization, I wouldn't start Deshaun Watson because I don't really necessarily want to sign up for the PR nightmare that is Deshaun Watson being your starting quarterback, but that's my decision. I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars of my own money that's tied up into this roster. My livelihood, my future, my job is not tied up into who the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns is, so that's easy for me to say. But if I'm Todd Monken, yeah, I'm taking my sweet time. I'm looking at every single variable. I'm allowing these guys to show me who they are. I'm going to let the QB1 show himself, whether that's Deshaun, whether that's Dillon Gabriel, and whether that's Shedeur Sanders, or insert whoever the Browns sign in the offseason here.
Deshaun Watson has a guaranteed salary of $46 million this year. He has a cap number of $80 million, and he has a dead cap number of $131 million. It would be foolish for us to think that they're not going to at least give him a look, because financially, they have to give him a look. Also, at the end of the day, you mentioned not your money. It is the Haslam's money. And what we don't know is how much pressure is coming from the Haslam's organization to make it all look right, because there is a very real world where Jimmy Haslam can look around and say, you guys think I'm an idiot, but check this out. If Deshaun Watson comes out, balls out, even though this is the last year that they're really financially tied to him forever, they have a couple years left on this contract. I mean, if I'm Haslam, I'm looking around saying, I've been the butt of every joke for a very long time. I would like people to see that I'm not an idiot. And wow, Deshaun Watson going out and winning 12 games for the Browns would accomplish that. We have no idea what kind of internal pressure is coming from ownership to at least give Deshaun Watson a look. I think all this comes back to why the right answer is to give everybody a look and let it play out. Let's see what second-year quarterbacks look like when they've had a full offseason to adjust and learn playbooks. Let's see what everybody looks like as they're growing into this offense. And also, let's see what Todd Monken feels like he can do the best work with when it comes to cooking with the right ingredients.